when you was doing your time, Lucky, did the Aryans know they was busting spreads with a Jew? I want to know. Umar Johnson preaches heavily against interracial marriage, relationships, etc., and we champion him, right? So we can't be upset with somebody else who doesn't want people of their race to date outside their race. But here's what I do know: these Southsiders, they like to go their ass through jail. Hey, but some of these guys may have inferiority and envy because they Peter gazing when it's shower time. I don't know. Black people who have anti-Mexican racism because that's a thing too. Niggas who didn't have to go to prison, getting institutionalized, niggas who didn't gangbang, none of that, who just hate Mexicans. But wait, so you can listen to black music, use black terminology, but you think that dating a black man is repulsive? There's some real cognitive dissonance that some membership of the Raza gotta really work out with themselves. Like when people say, ain't no black and brown coalition. There ain't no black and black coalition. Ain't no brown and brown coalition. The cars within the black race will go up and ride with each other. The Southsiders and the Norteños, how is that unit? There's not even a brown and brown or a black and black coalition where in the prison. All right, praise the Lord, praise the Lord. It's your brother GRLA Hebrew, man. And yeah, I gotta talk to y'all today about this whole Lucky Hood Stocks situation that sparked a major conversation in, kind of the Cali sphere, if you will, the extended California West Coast podcast universe. Multiverse. It's a multiverse, frankly. Deeply ingrained in the gang stuff, the no jumper stuff, and then we also have the Raza sphere, and there is some intersectionality with the Raza sphere and some of the other stuff, but some of the stuff in the Raza sphere is just on its own, right? It's something that some of us are not paying attention to, and you can see that with when Munchie B went on Hater World and dude called in and he like, hey, respectfully, humble, we don't need the black audience to do our thing. I sold a lot of records to Raza. We don't know who that dude is. We never heard of him. I remember being young and growing up around Mexicans and hearing about that. We always heard like Mr. Capone, Mr. Shadow, Little Rob, and they would have car shows and, it would like the whole Chicano thing, the whole lowrider culture, like we wasn't really a part of that. Many of us, I never had no interest in it at all. I thought, like, I couldn't tell you nothing about Capone or Mr. Shadow or none of them niggas, but like, I used to make fun of Lil Rob. Like that used to be like a joke to me to hear that nigga rap. I remember he was on a song. Man, we used to make so much fun of this song, man. I remember he said, I'm putting cracks up on the wall where cucarachas crawl. Oh my God, dog. I wouldn't let Mexicans hear the end of that. All in fun, all in jest. As y'all know, me identifying, with the Israelites and, one of our core beliefs is that the origin of black and brown people here in the diaspora in the Americas uh, is that of the ancient Israelites, the 12 tribes of Israel. So my overall view is a collective oneness, regardless of any differences. And even within the context, there is an explanation and an understanding that there's going to be division between black and brown, quote unquote, or black and Latino, that's going to exist. I don't have a utopian, I don't think we're going to achieve like utopian synergy and unity in this time. And I'm not going to utilize that. This video is not going to be about that. Not at all. I'm going to try to put as many of my biases to the side and just objectively analyze everything, all sides, all things that have happened, and put my input and kind of frame this from my perspective as I see it, again, as objectively as possible. I do have a bit of that, not a bit of that, but of course, y'all know that's my worldview. But in addition, outside of that, from my upbringing prior to me being introduced to the Israelite information is that black and brown people are all the same. That's what my father taught me. Of course, I'm a Haitian descent. So he taught me that. But in teaching me that, he also taught me to be black first, not even to be our specific delineated lineage as Haitian first, to be black first, right? He emphasized that to me at a very young age. And it was probably very important to him, being that I'm mixed because I have a white mother, that he implement that into me, and he and my grandparents, his parents, taught me about patrilineage, and that you are what your father is, and your father is black, so you're black. That's what I've always been taught. So that's what I'm raised on. Beyond that, now does all align with the Israelite information that I received later on when I was about 17 years old. But this was stuff I was already implanted with from a young age by my father and by my grandparents. So, I do have a little bias there, but at the same time, being Haitian and understanding Latin culture, understanding immigrant culture, and things like that, I also identify with that as well. Um, so just to give y'all the full balance, and I've been able to step outside of myself objectively and analyze all cultures, all situations, things like that. And all of that's important. And I grew up on the West Coast. When I grew up in Washington till I was about 12, we didn't have a lot of Mexicans. I remember we had Tomas, we had AJ, we had Don, we had Anthony Martinez, and we had Ricardo. I literally just named the 5 Mexicans I knew growing up in Tacoma, Washington. Now it's a gang of them. But when I was growing up in the 90s, we didn't have them, right? I just named 5 Mexicans, right? And Anthony and Ricardo were really dark skinned, and the other 3 I named was light skinned. Oh, and my nigga AJ, but AJ was black, white, and Mexican. So, but when I moved to California at 12, I was around a lot of Mexicans. So the 2 most constant ethnic groups I've been exposed to and been around and lived around in my life are Mexicans and Black Americans, point blank, period. So I just want to kind of set the stage, so everybody can understand the perspective that I'm coming from, before we go any further. But I want to really delve into this, and I have to give just the biggest shout out to Viral Way, Mr. Viral, my niggas, you know what I'm saying, with that Hussein like. Because that's who really is inspiring this. Because I seen it and I'm just like, whatever. Y'all got to understand this. Being in the Hebrew Israelite movement, I done spent 14 years like dealing heavily with race politics, a lot. And with bagging up from that and kind of refocusing my energy and my messaging and things like that, I just try to like stay away from race politics because I've done it so much. And frankly, one of my key target audiences and demographics, which is Black Americans, oftentimes when confronted with race politics, act funny. And what do I mean by act funny? I mean, oh, that doesn't matter. Oh man, you have, or you, as if anything I'm saying is irrelevant, or you see what I'm saying? So I shy away from it because it is off-putting to the masses. It just is what it is. Now I am. I've done it for 14 years, so I've seen it. So now I've just, try to casually implant certain ideals, but not be not just kicking out a door with it like I had the last 14 years. So that's why initially I was just gonna let this pass through the news cycle. But I see it's really not going anywhere, and I'm watching Viral, and I'm like, you know what? All kind of shit. I'm like, bro, nigga, you gotta say something, cuz. So, it is what it is. Big up the Viral Way, cuz I got a lot of opinions on this, frankly. I got a lot to say about this. So I hope y'all tuned in with me because I'm getting ready to dive deep. All right, so this is the hood stock. So number one, right, and I'm a like, there's a lot of ways that we need to confront this. A lot of ways that we need to confront this and hold people accountable. But, Lucky, he proudly displays his sponsors. He proudly displays his sponsors, right? Jewish people, we need to take notes from Jewish people. We need to take notes from Jewish people, right? You see how people always complaining about Jewish people, right? Instead of looking at them and going, how do I replicate that for my people? You ever think about that? Okay, cool. Because what they're doing is working for them. We need to make it work for us. So now, like Prime Equity Mortgage, you guys are a mortgage company. Do you want to be associated with a racist? And then now we take a look and we start pulling applications. We start doing some forensic research, and we realize that, hey, wait, maybe some black people are getting denied mortgage, or we find some black applicants again that got denials or got higher interest rates, and now we utilize your sponsorship, your endorsement of somebody who holds racist ideals and propagates them publicly and has no shame about them, has issued no apology about them. Your association with him, maybe that explains the ethnic bias, the racial bias in some of your applications and interest rates. Therefore, you know what? Lawsuit. Yeah, we need to come at Prime Equity Mortgage and ask them, do they want to sponsor a racist? We need to come at Shockaware, who black people have supported historically. We wear it, we put them shirts on. Ain't no pro clubs, get a Shockaware. Hey, but some niggas, they prefer Shaka over pro club. Yeah, we need to ask Shockaware if they want to sponsor a racist. Right? We want to ask Doug Sherrod, criminal defense, if he wants to be associated with sponsoring a racist. We need to ask Origin Bakery Equipment if they want to endorse Array, Killer Kush, Drip Fit. We need to ask all these sponsors. That's the first thing we need to do before we do anything else. These sponsors need to be getting emails, they need to be getting phone calls, they need to be tagged on social media, and they need to be asked if they want to continually endorse and sponsor a racist and his racist platform and his racist program and podcast. That's all. You see how that works?
Okay.
Can we really talk about this Blueface Jenny 6ix9ine situation, please?
I think it's necessary.
Yeah.
I think it's necessary.
Like, so that's really the origin point of all this, is the Blueface Jenny 6ix9ine thing. That's the origin point with all this, right? And it exposes a few things, right? But it exposes a, dare I say, archaic tradition that's held amongst certain Latin American communities, right? Certain Latin American communities. And it's rooted in white supremacy. And I'm going to delve deeper into that here momentarily. But this really all comes from Blueface and Jenny 6ix9ine and their association, any semblance of any relationship or idea that there might have been some type of, sexual encounter between them two. That like sparked some outrage amongst the Raza sphere, if you will, which was perplexing as a motherfucker to me because, nigga, y'all be talking bad about Jenny 6ix9ine like she's just a whore, so who cares what dick she's hopping on? That shit was strange, but it exposed some deep-rooted internalized envy held by a certain portion of the Raza. I don't think anybody can fucking argue with that. Now, somebody may come in, I'm Mexican, man. I don't give a fuck who fucks who, man. I don't envy the black man. You might not. I'm not saying all you motherfuckers do. I'm just saying some motherfuckers do. And I think that the outrage about Jenny 6ix9ine's association with Blueface in any romantic or sexual context definitely exposed that. And I don't think anybody objectively can argue with that, right? So now they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna talk about it. For the fact that, why the fuck does anybody have to talk about it? Who gives a fuck? I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Well, I don't, I mean, now I'm not Mexican, but maybe that's why. But I don't, listen, if Jenny 6ix9ine was fucking Donald Trump, I wouldn't give a fuck who it was. It wouldn't, who does it matter who Jenny 6ix9ine's fucking, right? Let's keep going.
Necessary, yeah.
It's in the news.
Is the air conditioner down, or did we just get hot in here?
It's back up.
Is it
No, it's
up?
back on. I feel like it just cranked on right
Yeah,
now.
it just
Okay.
cranked on.
Okay, good, good. Can you crack that door, please?
So Blueface is just like hot right now. Like,
Good take. Blueface is hot right now. What she means is he's everywhere. He's hot in the news, not, of course, aesthetically. He's hot, right? He's hot. For sure. Everything that nigga do is viral. Everybody know that.
anything.
But do you think he's a good-looking dude?
Now, I don't know if that was a planned question or because she said hot, he first heard it and thought she means he's good looking. Then he thought about it, realized she meant hot in the news, and now is posing the question, what do you think he's a good looking dude?
A black dude?
See that right there? Nah, is he a good looking dude? Why does he have to be a good looking black dude? That's like that stupidity that Young Berg once said when he said, yeah, she's cute for a dark skinned girl. So automatically when you add that context, what you're saying is that this group of people is in general unattractive. But of that unattractive group of people, is he kind of like one of the relatively attractive ones? That's not what you're asking her by saying a good looking dude, a black dude. Like like if I say, yeah, she cute for a white girl, and I say that, what I'm communicating is I don't generally find that group of women attractive. I don't, right? I don't say that about Latina women, about black women, about Asian women, about Polynesian women, about Arab women. I don't say that about any other group of women but Caucasian women, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and my eyes do not behold beauty at a high enough rate amongst that ethnic group for me to identify them generally as attractive. I just don't. It just is what it is. But colorism and racism and racial biases and preferences do exist. Just because somebody prefers does not indicate necessarily a racist or a colorist viewpoint or background. Let's make sure that's clear too, because people do have preferences and people are entitled to preferences, but some preferences are based on racism, colorism, social norms, social standards, archaic colonial practices, etc. We got to understand all these things. Let's keep going though.
African American?
Now he's going further. Black guy, African American. Then watch what this nigga say.
Booty scratcher?
You see that? Booty scratcher. So you could have just said literally all this idioto, pendejo, estúpido. All this idioto had to do, right? This payaso, Lux. All this payaso had to do was just simply ask, hey, you think he's a good looking guy? She could have said no, we can move the fuck on. You framed it racially and with a negative racial bias against black people, right? Black men specifically. You did that, right? And that is a manifestation of what you hold internally. That's why you couldn't help but do it in this instance. This wasn't a tongue-in-cheek thing, a slip in the tongue. This is how you feel, right? Now, Loca, I believe is, yeah, that's the name of the young lady. Not very young lady. Let's call her OG Skonka, right? Loca the OG Skonka. She tried to have some sense in the situation and be as media trained and PC as she could, but you kind of like forced the racial bias about her, right? You forced it. Which was, I don't know if you were trying to go viral or you were just so comfortable and casual, you know, to me, it kind of seems like this was like some casual shit for you. Like, this is just casually how you feel, how you talk, how your circle may talk, right? That's my estimation. Okay, cool, let's go.
Please.
So Blueface is just like hot right now. Like anything.
But do you think he's a good-looking dude? A black dude? African American? Booty scratcher?
No.
Now, he said booty scratch. Like that part kills me because of the ignorance, right? The term African booty scratcher was popularized in a movie called Boys in the Hood. And in that movie, Boys in the Hood, that was a delineation remark by a black American towards continental Africans, right? So to call a black American an African American booty scratcher is complete ignorance and further demonstration of lack of intellectual depth with this idioto payaso Lux here, Lucky. Or I don't even want to call him because I got a little homie Lucky Luke, who's Mexican, by the way, right? And I'm gonna talk about him in a minute. Yeah, so it's just stupid. Like, that's something that black Americans say towards Africans, people that's from the continent of Africa. So for you to put that on all right, just done.
No comment. I don't really.
She don't want to comment. Skonka loca don't want to comment. She's got a little sense, more sense than Lux, Payaso Lux. Much more sense, right? Okay, cool.
Really.
Come on.
I don't really. I don't
There's
really
an
look at
answer.
it.
I mean,
She don't want to talk about it. She's not a big fan of black guys. That's okay. She doesn't have to be. If she prefers to deal with her own people, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But all she had to say was, hey, you know, he's not my type. You know, I'm not a fan of Blueface. You know, no, I don't find him attractive. Right? But all it is, the way it's being handled seems definitely like the racism is so bustling that you can't suppress it. The individuals that are on camera right now, they just can't suppress it. So that's what's making us be able to analyze it and go, no, this is racism here we talking about. It's not just preferential, right? Like if somebody say, hey, boom, this white guy, hey, I really don't, like if I say, I don't really like damn homie, she's viral right now, right? She's all around Russian. I typically don't find white girls attractive, but do I find damn homie attractive? You better believe it. And I found that of white girls, the ones who I do like kind of tend to be Eastern European, especially Russian, Ukrainian, right? From some of them other Baltic area. I feel like they got an interesting look, that little Eurasian look. You know, the coldest white girls I ever seen is almost all Russian, right? So, you know, but that's preferential to me. But what she's doing here is showing it's more than preference, right? It's more than preference.
do you swing both ways?
No.
He said, do you swing both ways? So he means date blacks and Mexicans. But swing both ways is a term that you utilize for being bisexual, right? He's using it like black and Mexican are the two only races that fucking exist. All right. This payaso, I'm telling you, pinche payaso.
No?
Strictly dickly.
So she answers the question properly. No, I'm straight. Okay.
No, not okay.
You stupid motherfucker.
Yeah, wrong question. Do you like black dudes?
No.
No?
You see how fast that no was? Hard that no was? That's what's making this apparently racist. This is apparently and now I'm not saying it don't seem Objectively, this is apparently racist. Okay, cool.
Why not?
No. Penal Code 13.
She said Penal Code 13. So now people are saying, well, Munchie B said something racist because he said Mexicans have small penises in Penal Code 13. No, she introduced that to the conversation. So what she did by saying Penal Code 13 is what she's saying that she only deals with Mexican guys. And she's acknowledging a stereotype about Mexicans not being as well endowed typically as the Black American stereotype. She did that, right? She did that. Now, if y'all remember World War II, I'm going into history. Thailand, Vietnam and shit. What were some of the Southeast Asian prostitutes saying? No black guys, too big. So her saying Penal Code 13 to me indicates that her preference is predicated upon not wanting to get fucked with a big old dick. That is kind of what that's indicating. Anybody can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Skonka Loka could say, oh, that nigga don't know what the fuck he talking about. I don't, but that is how I am taking that, right? DeLeo the jeweler, we got to hit him up too for custom jewelry. Do you want to endorse a racist? Just question. Remember, we got to go at the sponsors. Got to go at the sponsors, right? Because that's what's keeping this bullshit show alive. Sponsorship, okay? Because I'm sure this got a lot of views, and this is the hottest topic in the whole California sphere right now. This nigga's got 229,000 subs, and in a week, this motherfucker only got 26,000. So I'm telling you now, the AdSense dollars ain't what keeping this shit alive. The sponsorship is really pumping life into this bullshit ass program, right? So most certainly, we need to start calling, emailing, text messaging, tweeting, motherfucking Instagramming and TikToking sponsors. That's what the fuck we need to do. Okay, cool. Let's keep going.
Oh!
Can we just take a look? Let's look at her teeth. Mommy. Mommy. Your titties are sagging to your knees. All right. You don't got a full set of tweaker teeth, but you got like a quarter set. Why are your front teeth, like usually your front ones be the whitest and the best ones and it be the other ones that's fucked up. It's the opposite for her. I don't know what the fuck is going on with Skonka Loka. I have no idea, right? But trust me, we don't give a fuck, right? We don't care. You can fuck whoever the fuck you feel like fucking, right? But everybody's laughing because they're acknowledging the stereotype, right? They're acknowledging the stereotype. And I seen somebody on Viral Way's comment board, and he made a comment, and he put me in remembrance of something called of Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. God rest her soul. An amazing woman, absolutely amazing woman, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. And she talked about the fear of the black penis. I don't want to delve too deep off into that. Again, there's certain stereotypes. I've heard many women comment and say that, hey, that's not their experience. I don't know. I don't give a fuck. But here's what I do know. These Southsiders, they like to go their ass to motherfucking jail. Okay? And in jail, motherfuckers share showers, right? Now, of course, there's the South Side time to shower, it's the black time to shower, etc. Hey, but some of these guys may have inferiority and envy because they Peter gazing when it's fucking shower time. I don't know. And I wouldn't even insinuate that or put that on nobody if that bitch don't make that comment and all the motherfuckers laugh in acknowledgement of that stereotype. So they're introducing all of this shit to the conversation. I would never start talking about dick size. I think that's a bullshit cop-out run-to argument, but y'all just made it valid. Y'all made it valid. Because I want to say they put a study out, and I think Honduras as a country had like the largest per capita or something like that, like the largest average. And Honduras has a lot of black people in it for sure. I remember Haiti was number 5. I'm Haitian, so boom. There's a lot of Haitians in Honduras too. For many just generations. Just want to put that out there. But yeah, so you know, y'all are bringing the dicks into the conversation, and y'all are kind of acknowledging the stereotypes here with these little cracks. So let's go back.
Do you like black dudes?
No,
No? Why not?
no. Penal Code 13.
Why not? The why is dick size. That's what she just said. Okay, cool.
Oh! That's why she's on hood stocks. I mean, I don't have nothing against it. Like, I would be disappointed. I ain't gonna.
First, he said he ain't had nothing against it. Then he said he would be disappointed, right? So that's telling him that the racial bias supersedes everything else, right? Is that the worst thing in the world? No, we see what Umar Johnson preaches, and this is why you got to be objective here. Umar Johnson preaches heavily against interracial marriage, relationships, etc., and we champion him, right? So we can't be upset with somebody else who doesn't want people of their race to date outside their race or their ethnic group. And I hate this term race because frankly, Latino is not a race, Hispanic is not a race. Black as a race, these are social constructs, and I'm gonna get deep off into that here momentarily as well, because that's very important to understand the full scope of this conversation. It's very motherfucking important. But you know, for the purpose of cultural integrity, I understand it 100%. I don't disagree with it. But again, as I said, from my worldview, I'm not really amongst black and brown populations. I don't truthfully see an actual real difference. So I wouldn't have an issue anything within, you know, the black and brown realm of the Americas. When we start venturing outside of that, that's when I start to see something different. But that's neither here nor there right now. He said he would be disappointed, right? But this isn't coming from a place now, because of how it's already been framed, of a desire for cultural preservation and integrity. It's from a place of racism, of anti-blackness specifically. Let's call it what it is. I'm gonna try to actually shy away from the term racist and go into anti-black, because specifically it's anti-blackness we talking about, right? Because the motherfucker talking is his mama didn't go out of her way to culturally preserve Chicano. Now you came up that way, right? So your culture was preserved, but your daddy's a Russian Jew, right? So now you're disappointed about a Mexican girl getting with a black dude, and your mama fucked a Jew, right? I want to know. I want to know, when you was doing your time, Lucky, did the Aryans know they was busting spreads with a Jew? I want to know. Can we find out? Right, Aaron? Did y'all know this motherfucker? Y'all thought this was the South Side, homie. This motherfucker's Jewish, man. Let's keep going, man. This nigga Payaso Lucky, he's too motherfucking easy.
Loca, what do you think? No?
He's a handsome man right there. Look at that guy right there. Send me a money order. Look at, I love you. Send me a money order. You gonna send me a money order?
Chale.
Look at that guy right there, man.
Do you think that's why everybody is mad at Jenny 6ix9ine because of that?
I mean, I'm not mad at her. To me,
You shouldn't be mad at her. Now, even if she feel like, hey, I ain't fucking with black dudes, like, I don't care if the next chica does, right? Okay, the next fucking hyena does.
me, it's like she's getting where she fit in. To me, I mean, if you want to make money and do whatever you got to do, because he's hot right now, why wouldn't you do some collaboration with him?
Okay, so she's got some anti-black, just a little racial bias. But, you know, she's got some logic and reason. Okay.
So no shame in the game. No shame in the game.
It's not. I mean, that's Jenny. That's what she's gonna do. She likes to twerk. That's her MO. I mean,
to me, that's why there shouldn't have been any outrage from the gate. I don't understand the outrage at all. Like she just said, this is what Jenny do. Why are we surprised about that? But it exposes a racial bias and anti-blackness held by a certain portion of the Raza. It does. Because what the fuck, a hoe being a hoe, who gives a fuck who she horn with, right? All right, cool, let's go.
I mean, what did you expect from her?
She a baddie, huh?
Yeah.
She a baddie.
She's hot.
Would you hit that?
Nah.
Okay, that's right. You said you don't swing both ways. No. I was trying to catch you on the... trying to catch you slipping. Thought you don't swing both ways.
But Blueface. I mean, he got out of prison and just became an even higher celebrity than.
Because he's ghetto. People like his ghetto shit.
No. This is what it is, bro. If you're gonna be a gangster rapper, you need to been through the shit. Straight up. If you ain't been through the shit, then don't rap about being a gangster because there's levels in the game. Like I knew when I was 16, 17 years old that I needed to go to prison. I wanted to go to prison.
And you know, from coming up around Southsiders, like that's what we feel like the Southside mentality is. One of the biggest jokes we had, man, when I was in the county jail was all the little essays coming back from court going, I just signed for 5, fool. I just signed for 5, dog. Like, signed for 5, is it? They all just signed for 5. And they were looking at it like it was just part of the motherfucking process. You know, when I was taught and conditioned to avoid prison at is all cost short of snitching. As long as I don't gotta tell, avoid jail, do whatever you gotta do to avoid jail, short of telling. That's how I was indoctrinated. But the Southside indoctrination kind of is like going to prison as a part of, like, how can you really be a Southsider or a Solano if you haven't been to the penitentiary? You see what I'm saying? All right, cool, let's go.
You know what I mean? Because that's where I was gonna get my stripes. That's where I was gonna be, you know what I mean? One of my older homies, like Johnny Conejo, you know what I mean? You know, fucking Ray Loco from my neighborhood, you know what I mean? Like the big dogs, you feel me?
Yeah, same here. I wanted to go to prison too.
And I seen them dudes, and them dudes were different too. The older homies, they were different. They were just like, just a different stilo, especially when they get out the penitentiary and shit, you know, and you're just like, damn, okay, I'm gonna go get some of that game right there. You know what I mean? Yeah. You get it from the older homies, but I always like, so.
When is y'all gonna address that though? You see how this is being championed and praised, and I always say, like, people keep condemning the younger generation, and there's not gonna be a change in the younger generation until there's a change in the values. There has to be a change in the values. If he at 16 years old valued the penitentiary, he was destined for that motherfucker. What did Pac say? Oh, the only thing promised to me was the penitentiary, my nigga. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's a bigger issue of the value system that we're being brought up in as black and brown people that's leading us to graveyards and prison yards. The fucking value system, like that is we're worried about who the fuck Jenny 6ix9ine fucking or which fucking Mexican girl want to go get some black dick. You should worry about the indoctrination of your younger homies with fucking prison. That's what you should worry about, right? All right. Now, let me go here because this is really the inspiration.
But for today, we got to talk about this black versus Hispanic stuff that's been going on, or should I say Hispanic versus blacks? Because most of the hostility is coming from the Hispanic community. And I want some Hispanics to come up here and tell me why. What is the real issue? What's y'all real beef? Make it make sense. Why do y'all team up with the ones who hate y'all too? Make that make sense. Why do y'all got all this smoke for the black community, but when it comes to the racist white community, y'all are docile? Y'all are quiet. Y'all are silent. Y'all ain't got no smoke for them.
Drop a bomb for Cud. Can we drop a bomb? We need to drop a bomb for Cud right now, right? Because that's reality. All of this shit is rooted in white supremacy. That's what it's rooted in. Okay? What do I mean? What's funny is them ABs and Nazi law, all them like who wanted penitentiary yards, those aren't white supremacists. They're a joke, right? What I mean is their white supremacy is a joke, right? Don't take it the wrong. Their white supremacy is a joke. There's nothing supreme about them because all the motherfuckers go to jail, and we learned something in a movie called American History X. In here, you're the nigga. You're at the bottom end of the fucking pecking order, right? Everybody knows in the California system who's running the motherfucking jails. It's niggas, it's Mexicans. It's blacks, it's Mexicans. That's it, right? Who else? Everybody else is a motherfucking extra in the movie, nigga. If we're being for real, them I done seen. Now I ain't been to the penitentiary. Praise the Lord. Hope I never go. But during my times in the county jail, I have seen the Woods be just like the subservient sidekicks of the Southsiders. So y'all go to prison on some white supremacy shit, and y'all ain't nothing but extras in the motherfucking movie. Let's be real. Okay? So those aren't white supremacists. White supremacists are Christopher Columbus, right? Hernan Cortez. You know, the motherfucker who came to Mexico, you know, chained up Montezuma, all that shit. Enslaved motherfucker, made motherfuckers Catholic and speak Spanish and all that good shit. Okay, cool. And that indoctrination that came with the Spanish colonial system to Mexico and to Latin America, period. And came especially from Western Europe. The British did it, the French did it, the Portuguese did it, the Spanish did it, the Dutch did it. But they all had their own unique brand of white supremacy. But the common theme of white supremacy is proximity to whiteness came with benefits. Proximity to whiteness came with benefits, right? And the easiest way or the primary way to have proximity to whiteness was to be lighter, right? To literally have biological proximity to whiteness, either actually or by perception, right? Perceptively. Either you looked closer to white or you were by, because some people, because like I'm half white, so I look racially ambiguous. Motherfuckers don't know if I'm Latino, am I Arab, am I Polynesian, what is this motherfucker? I remember I had 8th grade, I was walking home from school, I got into it with this motherfucker, white boy, older, and his mom called the cops on me, right? I got up out of there. When I came back to school the next day, I get pulled in the principal's office, and my principal, she said, this is how she said she knew it was me. She said, we got a call that it was a Samoan black Mexican kid, right? So the kid who we couldn't really tell, he was one of them 3 motherfuckers, right? She said, yeah, it's that motherfucker. Get him, right? Okay, smooth. So, but I know people who are half white who don't look white at all. I know niggas that's half Mexican that don't look like you couldn't, they only just look black. Right? But if somebody knows it and they're white, they may get a person preferential treatment, right? So that's the white supremacist system. Proximity to whiteness, right, is preferable and comes with benefits, right? And this is how they reinforced in the minds of the indigenous people and the black people who they enslaved and oppressed and colonized. That's how they reinforced their superiority, their supremacy. And that's how they maintain power and play divide and conquer. That is the root of all of this shit, right? Spanish colonial racial categories, right? You see this? Casta, they called it. They had a caste system. This is where all this stuff comes from, the anti-blackness that we see amongst Hispanic communities come from. It comes from a casta system, las castas. You see this? So we start here. Okay, there's white. White's not even on here. You see that? White's not even on here. We know white, Espanol. Español con India, right? Meaning a native, indigenous, Amerindian, and a Spaniard, right? Father and mother. That's the top. White daddy, top of the totem pole. Okay, boom. White mom, second place. Third place, a castizo, right? They make a castizo. So look at this. Mestizo is, and this is why calling Latinos mestizo, it's stop propagating this Spanish colonial categorization. That's why Mexico eliminated that. Like when a lot of people, there was a false narrative going around. Oh, Afro Mexicans didn't get recognized because Mexico abolished all racial stratification and categorization and just identified all people of Mexico as Mexican regardless of their ethnic origins. That's why there was no specific category for Afro-Mexicans, because Mexico just looked at itself as a unified identity and they rejected terms like mestizo. That's really what it was, rebellion against Spanish colonial ideology, right? When you actually research it, which most motherfuckers don't do, right? They just want to sensationalize shit because this, and this is another reason why I kind of haven't gone into shit like this, because like this is like pornography for motherfuckers. Black versus Mexican shit is, motherfuckers beat off to this, I promise you. And it's weird. Motherfuckers have a weird fixation and obsession with this. But this is a legitimate issue that needs to be talked about. So that's why. So look, it says an Español con India, right? A white man and an Indian woman create a mestizo. A mestizo, right? White man, Indian woman create a mestizo. Then that baby marries a white girl, an Espanol. It's a castizo, right? A castizo. So this child is only a quarter indigenous, and that indigenous origin is coming from his grandmother. Okay. Now, if a castizo, quarter indigenous, gets with a white girl, now he's only 12.5% indigenous, mostly white. You see that? This is how fucking intricate they go. So if you have any admixture, so white is number one, right? Now, beneath that is either you're half Indian, a quarter Indian, or an eighth Indian. Indigenous, that is, right? Okay, cool. Now that we got that out the way, what if a white man gets with a black woman? That's called a mulatto. Very offensive term. What mulatto means is a mule. It's insinuating that a horse, the white man, fucked a donkey, the black woman. Very, very racist term. That's why Lotto changed her name from mulatto just to Lotto, because very offensive term. Okay, so then there's this. What's the common theme of the top of the totem pole? The father is white, right? So Lucky would be the top of the totem pole, still underneath a full-fledged Spaniard white man. But he would be at the top of the totem pole here as far as of the oppressed peoples. Because this is like the oppression map. White man at the top, then this is stratification. 16 different categories on how to oppress a motherfucker. But again, what is the common theme here? White patrilineage. Very important to notate, right? Let's keep going. Okay, so if the mulatto gets with the Espanol, he's a Morisco, right? A Morisco, that's a mulatto man and a white woman. Mulatto Española, right? Morisco, right? There's a lot of, I know Moriscos is like a chain of coastal Mexican seafood restaurants in California. Marisco. Okay, now the Morisco gets with Española. That's a Chino, right? There's Mexicans now called Chino, right? Usually a little darker. That's where that comes from. It comes from colonial Mexican culture. This is where all this shit comes from. It comes from white supremacy. And Mexicans who subscribe to these, you need to decolonize your motherfucking mind. That's your problem, right? And this doesn't vindicate black people who have anti-Mexican racism, because that's a motherfucking thing too. Ask me how I know, because I'm a nigga and I definitely said plenty of racist things that held racist ideologies towards Mexicans when I was young and dumb. For sure, and I'm not alone. I know a lot of niggas that still do to this day. niggas who didn't have to go to prison, get institutionalized, niggas who didn't gangbang, none of that shit, who just hate Mexicans. That's a real fucking thing too. So don't think just because we going on this that I think that that's not a real, that I know for a fact that's a real thing. And I've always called it out once I woke up to it, right? Which was a long time I was a teenager. So again, we go all the way down. So this is where the shit comes from, okay? If you're an indigenous Mexican in this caste system and you procreate with a black person, you move yourself to the bottom of this totem pole, right? If you keep it within your own or go white, you stay in a better position in the totem pole. That's where this ideology came from. It was very strongly reinforced. So this is why we see it held like this when we see anti-blackness in the way we do in Latin America and Latin American cultures in the United States. We see this reflected in their television programming where they love to showcase the lighter skinned ones. People say, oh, they're white, man. Some of them is white, right? But the majority of people call them white just because they're light. That's fucking ignorance, but whatever. But we see that because of this caste system and the concept that it reinforced of colorism. The same way I know black people, I know black women who say they wouldn't date anyone darker than them. Same reason why we seen this amongst the Mexicans, like we seen this Skonka Loca say what she said. The same reason there's the better the race concept that exists in the Dominican Republic. All of that shit comes from the very intricate Mexican casta system. And you motherfuckers need to decolonize your motherfucking minds. That's simple. That's what it is. Decolonize your motherfucking mind. Fool, vato, dog, essay. Decolonize your motherfucking mind. That's what all this shit is rooted in, bro.
LA County specifically, the blacks have been falling for anything. There's been no self-respect, no dignity, no backbone. I have seen none of this being applied in the media from our popular black platforms out here. It's been one big circus act. And I, for one, am sick of it. I, for one, am tired of it. That's not how I grew up seeing black men represent themselves. That's not the history of black people that I was taught. We was always strong. We was always resilient. We was always cream of the crop, top of the top. It always been us against the world from the get-go, but we ain't never been this docile and cowardice from whenever I could remember. I don't give a fuck if you want to go back to the slavery days, man. We had slave revolts that they never told us about. We wasn't all just laying down, taking them lashes and picking cotton and all that. So you got to really learn your history. But what I want to know is specifically to the Hispanic community, what the is y'all problem with us? Mind you, I'm the type of guy, I don't care if you got a problem. Just let me know you got a problem, and it's no problem. In the words of 50, just let me know you got a problem. Cool, no problem. It's when you try to act like we cool, you throwing rocks, hiding your hands, you acting like you got love for us. All the meanwhile, whenever we say something that you don't necessarily like, or we don't just go along with whatever you say, then your true feelings start to spill out. That's the stuff I got a problem with. If you hate us all the way. Don't dress like us, don't act like us, don't walk like us, don't talk like us, don't indulge in nothing that got to do with our culture if you hate us.
Tremendous point. Tremendous point. And that's something that has always perplexed me. But the conclusion that I eventually came to with that is, I can't even truly take anti-blackness for Mexicans all that seriously. I can't. And that's why. Because as like I saw a tag the other day in the Reddit where the line goes tagged like a Klansman. And And it's like, motherfucker, you know they hate you too, right? You know that there's a book about all the lynchings of the Mexicans that happen. And if it was more of y'all in them southern areas, you would have seen the same fucking thing. I don't know why but again, this comes from a desire for proximity to whiteness. It's really just like cultural house niggaism, right? It's like you got house nigga sellouts, and you have anti-blackness amongst black people that supersedes colorism, and often goes into philosophy and the psychology and the mentality of a lot of people. You just have it kind of on a more quantifiable scale amongst certain Latin groups. That's all. It's just house niggism. I can't take the shit seriously. You like rap too much. You like Jordans too much. You like Tupac too motherfucking much. You like niggas too much to really hate niggas. Right? And it's not in the same way like white people who are like, we want to steal and appropriate and we're envious. We don't have ingenuity and creativity. No. It's not the same because y'all got ingenuity and creativity and style and shit of your own too. It's a recognized game thing and an adaptation because, of course, the Black American specifically, and I can say this as somebody who's a Black immigrant, is the most influential single ethnic group in the fucking world, bar none. It's not up for debate, right? Okay, well, I was outside of white people, of course, but Black Americans didn't have to rape, rob, and murder the planet Earth in order to spread their influence. They had to just wake up and be their fucking self, right? Okay, cool, great. So, yeah, man, I done heard Mexicans say "fuck niggers, nigga." What? Fuck niggers, nigga. Nigga, I can't take your racism. You niggas ain't really racist for real. Not the way you think you are. Not the cause when you analyze shit like that, and this would kill me. That's why I really like when I used to think the same things when I was young, and I remember, man, I was down bad. I was down and out one day. I was fucked up, and I stayed at the essay home with the essay homies one day. Straight up Southsiders, parents Pisces. You know what I'm saying? And they took me in, they fed me, they housed me, all the good shit one night. And they was having a kickback, and we was all kicking it and chilling. And wasn't no hoes around. So they're like, shit, we finna call some hoes. They call some hoes, and this was the house phone era. So nigga, we on different receivers. So I get on there, I'm trying to pop at the bitches. Right? And it's funny because the girl, they was playing rap music. I forget whether they was playing T-Pain or Pretty Ricky. They was playing something that was using different black slang. And I try to get at the bitch and just from, how I sound. And she's like, oh no, I don't go for black guys. Like, hell no. And I'm like, and I remember the homie got on there like, hey, yeah, fuck, that's the homie. Watch out. Like, he checked her. My nigga Boogie, man, shout out, bro. But I was like, but wait. So you can listen to black music, use black terminology, but you think that dating a black man is repulsive? There's some real cognitive dissonance that some membership of the Raza got to really work out with themselves. Seriously. And y'all got to have these conversations. One of the problems is y'all are not having these conversations amongst your fucking selves. And I'm going to tell you what's crazy. Let's go to, what's my nigga, Lefty. Because a lot of people took this quote out of context and really demonized Lefty. Really demonized the fuck out of Lefty. And missed the point of what he was saying. He was actually addressing this bullshit.
Well, you said that you wouldn't let your daughter date a black guy.
Yes, sir.
You still feel that way?
You know what? It's not that I feel that way.
It's not that he feel that way. He was addressing something. And there was a lot of demonization that was accompanied with this, but motherfuckers didn't hear what he was saying. Right? Let's keep listening.
It's just, I wanted to shed light to a lot of homes in the San Gabriel Valley, East LA, shit like Latino communities that have been like that. And I'm the one that's trying to break that barrier. But at the end of the day, if my baby girl's happy with an Asian, with a white, with a black guy, I'm not gonna beat her down for it. That's cool. But
So what he was saying was, it's like this. We're like this. We feel like this. And it does go both ways, but black people are typically more accepting of other cultures, typically, than other ones are. This is what it is. And he was addressing it. Why is it like that? Let's kind of, you know what I mean? Like, it's like that. It's weird. Why is it like that? We are like that. We have racial biases and preferences, but like, but why? So he caught a lot of flack for this. But truthfully, he was trying to have a conversation then amongst the Raza that could have prevented this shit from happening. Quite frankly. Right? It is what it is. And this shit supersedes. We're dealing with the Raza right now, right? But this shit supersedes. It goes beyond that, because I've experienced personally anti-blackness from pretty much every culture I've encountered. I've experienced anti-blackness amongst black people, white people, Latino people, specifically Mexicans, motherfucking, what you call it? What's these niggas? Asians, Polynesians, right? Polynesians, nigga. Hold on. I had a Samoan girlfriend in high school. Now, mind you, I understand I'm racially ambiguous, so I could pass for a lot of shit. But my Samoan girlfriend in high school, I was the first boyfriend that, you know, she took to meet her parents and shit like that. And I had tricked her into breaking up with me because I wanted to just, I was having so many bitches, man. I couldn't be tied down, but I was trying to keep her anchored, right? And she ended up start fucking with this nigga who I ended up getting real cool with, the homie. He rest in peace now. Shout out to bro though. Rest in peace to bro. And but I was young and dumb, so I was kind of beefing with him. I had tension with him over the bitch at the time, but you know, it didn't really end for something else. He had got into it with one of my older homies, but you know, it didn't ever go into anything, and we ended up embracing him and becoming real cool. It was my nigga. But you know, he was dark skinned though. You know what I'm saying? Real dark skinned brother. And she started fucking with Cud, and you know, she asked her mom, would she accept him, and she said no. Right? These are Samoans, straight Samoans. So, that right there, that's anti-blackness. You see that? I've seen Samoan women say very negative, racist things against black women, specifically over their race, things like that. But a lot of the people who shit on black women because black men have given them the ammunition to do that, right? Speaking negatively on them. But before I even get to that, just going back to the Samoan family I was speaking of, I was more palatable and acceptable to their family, even though I was black, because I looked like them. Especially back then, I used to be wearing my hair and shit like that. Like most people thought I was Samoan in high school. And coincidentally enough, I was beefing with all the Samoans, and I was fucking all they bitches back in high school. So yeah, so that there was some anti-black. I've seen that there. I've been called a hard R by an Asian before. I've been called Mayate before plenty of times. Back to the ammunition and the anti-blackness that exists amongst black people. Now, we all drawn on each other, light skin, dark skin, fat, you know, whatever. But then, of course, there are light skin and dark skin biases. Again, me, you know, I always say I'm not light skinned, I just look like this, because I don't want to be categorized with light skin stereotypes, because light skinned niggas are typically associated with softness etc. And I really didn't know I was really light skinned or mixed until I moved away from where I grew up at, and we started bouncing around. First, my hometown of Tacoma, and then to California, where people didn't know me, and people couldn't tell what I was. Cause where I come from on the hilltop, everybody, there's plenty of niggas that's half black, half white, or half black, half Asian, half black, half Native American. We around that motherfucker, so it's really not no question, and nobody's really looking at you any different because it's so prevalent. But when you get to bouncing around and it's not as prevalent and there's different ethnic groups that are factors, motherfuckers start to get in the, you know what I'm saying, well, what is you and boom, boom, whatever. And nigga, like, but like I said, I'm not light skinned, I just look like this, right? Okay, smooth. So, my preferentially, my like archetype of woman is short, thick, dark skin. Like, both my baby moms is that criteria. Like, that's like my favorite type of bitch. So when I hear niggas like, from my first girlfriend, which was my best friend's sister, when I was fucking 6 years old. So when I heard niggas like, when I start really, cause I didn't really see colorism when I was younger. Again, because it was dark skin, light skin, like it wasn't I didn't see differentiation. But when I moved to California, that's when I start seeing colorism. Start identifying colorism. Not that it didn't exist where I came from, I just wasn't conscious to it. And to me, the most prominent people in my life who I looked up to was all dark skinned. So to me, to be biased in the opposite way was like crazy conceptually, right? So, motherfucker was like, when motherfuckers like talking about black girls and especially dark skinned black girls, like these are black men I'm talking about, black boys, repulsive, and I got a little homie, and shout out my little homie, he's in a long-term relationship with a black woman right now, kids, all that. But when he was young, he's real dark skinned, and he was like, yeah, I don't want to fuck with a black girl because I don't want to have a dark skinned daughter. Nigga said that, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Right? What the fuck are you talking about? That type of shit was crazy as fuck to me. So anti-blackness exists not just in Latinos amongst whites, and it exists amongst everybody. It's the most prevalent form of racial bias on the planet Earth for the last half a millennia. That's unavoidable, right? So we're not gonna act like it doesn't exist. It needs to be called out. It needs to be addressed. And for all my Latinos out there, and specifically my Mexicans out there, I know it's not all of y'all. I know it's plenty of y'all. Like when people say, I ain't no black and brown coalition. Motherfucker, ain't no black and black coalition. Ain't no brown and brown coalition. Right? Some people will say, well, it is in prison. No, the fuck it ain't. Because the cars within the black race will go up and ride with each other. So how the fuck is that unity? The Southsiders and the Norteños, how is that unity? There's not even a brown and brown or a black and black coalition where in the prison. Right? The coalitions that exist are coalitions of the willing. So there are willing brown people and willing black people that collaborate and unify with each other. Everybody's not willing on both sides. See how that works? So I hope I'm not rambling. Excuse me, forgive me if I am. But these are just points that I know I gotta hit before I just get up off this. So I just know I got everything to fuck up off my chest in regard to this conversation. Latinos, Mexicans specifically, you niggas gotta start calling shit out. A lot of y'all are, y'all say nigga, y'all cool with niggas, y'all some of y'all is in black gangs, shit like that. And you gotta call that shit out amongst your own people, and y'all gotta have that conversation, and y'all gotta hold each other accountable. We did it. The homie Jat 5 gave a public DP to the little homie that knocked over that motherfucking elote lady or the taco stand lady, the street vendor, right? Meanwhile, y'all are taxing and oppressing your own people who are street vendors. Y'all be robbing and knocking over street vendors as well, right? So just like that was, we, the set, did a tremendous public display of correcting something that happened to offend y'all community. Y'all, that was the precedent and the standard being fucking set. It needs to be reciprocated. Point blank, period. It needs to be reciprocated. Ain't no motherfucking way around it. It needs to be reciprocated. Right? There are other factors in play. There's, because people always talk about the difference between like the Mexicans in Texas versus how the Mexicans function in California, specifically Southern California. There's even a staunch difference between the Mexicans of Southern California and Northern California. And that does play, with the Nuestra Familia, La M.A., the Chicano movement. All of that plays a part because Chicanos and Tejanos are different groups of people. They're all Mexican people, but they're different socially, culturally. There are social and cultural differentiations between those two groups of people. The same way there's a difference between black people from California and black people from Texas. We see the divide going on right now. We having a disagreement, the homies from the land and the homies from Fort Worth. There's a cultural difference between people from different areas. Whether just because they're all Mexican, the same way just because we all black don't mean everybody's the same, even amongst Haitians. We have something called Florida Haitians and New York Haitians, Canadian Haitians, and of course, Haitian Haitians, motherfuckers from Haiti. There's different cultural, right? The motherfuckers from Canada love making fun of the way American Haitians speak Creole because they speak it in a more French way and we speak it in a more American and English way. And the ones in Haiti speak it the Haitian way. You see what I'm saying? So it's social behavior for people to always find a reason to divide themselves, right? But I remember I saw an amazing thing when the first time I went to jail in San Diego County. I ran into a older brother by the name of Gentry. I believe his name was Gentry. And, he was kind of a little bit of a jailhouse legend. I had sailed up with a older brother from the Bay. And he was like, man, yeah, that Gentry, man, he beat a murder pro per, right? And I think he was fighting another serious case, if I'm not mistaken. And I seen him years later in Vista, California at the transit station. And he ran into this Mexican dude, and they just looked at each other. This veterano, this pistolero, sureño, and they didn't know each other, but they took one look at each other and were able to identify the institutionalization, the prison time that they had each spent, and they immediately embraced each other and like played oos for each other at the motherfucking transit station. It was like, it blew my mind. So this is a black and a Mexican who spent time on prison yards, divided as a Sereno and with the black car, right? But in the moment where they were in the sea of people, they identified their commonality of being institutionalized and utilized that as a point of unification. So people separate and unify predicated upon circumstances all the time, and people are always going to cleave to what is familiar to them. That familiarity of institutionalization superseded there was plenty of Mexicans there, the racial familiarity of him with other Southsiders and Mexicans there, and made him cleave to that black man who clearly has also done a considerable stint of prison time. Human beings are funny like that, right? Haitians and Dominicans, we have a very historic divide. There's a very prevalent ideology of anti-Haitianism that exists in the Dominican Republic and amongst Dominican people. But I've been in situations where there's one Haitian and one Dominican, and that Hispaniolan unity manifest. You see what I'm saying? Um, Also, when I was locked up in San Diego, when I was in South Bay, you know, it's Dago shit going on, Dago politics, and I spent a lot of my life in Dago. But as far as especially the city of San Diego politics, I have nothing to do with that. So when I was locked up, a nigga from PDL came in here. Mind you, he's a Lane, I'm a Hoover. We are mortal enemies. But the fact that we identified as we were LA politics and all these niggas with Dago, we was the closest niggas to each other during our time incarceration, during in San Diego. My nigga Willie B, I heard he passed. You know, rest in peace. That's my nigga. You feel me? Like all the way. And it's just funny how sometimes the same people who would divide from each other in certain instances and circumstances will utilize that same thing for collaboration and unification. Right? It's funny. So yeah, motherfuckers need to wake the fuck up and realize we all at the bottom, and the motherfuckers at the top want to keep us divided and conquered, and that's why they indoctrinated us with all of this bullshit, all of this anti-blackness, all of this divisiveness, all of these different titles, all of this shit. It's why, my nigga. Wake the fuck up. Okay? A Latino ain't nothing but a nigga with straight hair. So yeah, with that, man, that's all the fuck I had to say on that. Big up to the Viva La Raza still though, nigga. Love you motherfuckers. Don't give a fuck. Y'all all can hate me. I'ma still love you. I'ma love you anyway. God said I got to. So it is what it is, man. Big up to Viral Way. Big up to Munchie. Big up to everybody, man. All blacks and browns. Niggas gotta get their motherfucking mind right. Cause I'm here to tell you right now, there's no way to fuck up out of this. Without each other, and anybody who's convincing himself of anything contrariwise to that is only fooling themselves. Praise the Lord, I'm gone.